The 1960s were closing out with a bang when these songs hit the airwaves. In 1969, a new car cost around $3,500. A gallon of gas was 35 cents, and the average home price was just $27,900. While Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, moviegoers were flocking to see Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and music was changing forever. Sly and the Family Stone crafted Hot Fun in the Summertime. After their Woodstock performance. Formed in 1966, Sylvester Stewart recruited siblings and friends to pioneer soul-funk psychedelic fusion. Behind this cheerful anthem, Sly battled substance abuse issues while creating music that influenced Prince and Public Enemy. Fun fact, Sly recorded most vocals alone at night, refusing to let band members hear them until finished. Steam's Nah Nah Hey Hey Kiss 'Em Goodbye began a throwaway B-side by studio musicians Paul Lika, Gary DiCarlo, and Dale Frasher. They assembled it from an unfinished song with Steam invented as a fake band name. The childish chant, added as runtime filler, became iconic in sports arenas while the musicians earned minimal profits. Fun fact, DiCarlo died never having performed the song with a fake band shown in promotions. Blood, Sweat, and Tears elevated jazz rock fusion with Spinning Wheel. Spinning wheel, got to go round. Written by David Clayton Thomas after joining in 1968. Founder Al Cooper was ousted from his creation before their greatest success. Clayton Thomas's gruff vocals about fortune cycles were backed by complex arrangements that divided rock purists who felt they betrayed the genre's rebellious roots. Fun fact, the ending organ incorporates Yankee Doodle Dandy as ironic commentary on American optimism. The Zombies' Time of the Season top charts in 1969. After the British group had already disbanded. Formed in 1962, they created this psychedelic masterpiece with its iconic bass line for their Odyssey and Oracle album, famously misspelled on the cover. The song's sensual undertone sparked controversy on conservative radio while band members watched their success from the sidelines. Fun fact, the distinctive breathy sound is vocalist Colin Blunstone literally inhaling and exhaling into the microphone. Man, I bet these songs take you back to specific moments in 1969. Was it a first date? Maybe your wedding dance? Perhaps shipping out to Vietnam? Share those memories in the comments. This channel thrives on your stories. So, hit that like button if you remember where you were when these songs were played, and subscribe for more musical time capsules. Now, let's continue our journey through 1969. Creedence Clearwater Revival's Green River showcased John Fogerty's Southern sound despite their California origins. Formed in 1959 as the Blue Velvets, success came nearly a decade later. Fogerty's swamp rock classic about Puda Creek created imagery so convincing that Southerners claimed it as their own. Meanwhile, tension between Fogerty and bandmates reached its breaking point. Fun fact, Fogerty lost rights to his own songs through a disastrous contract, spending decades legally prohibited from performing them. The Doors pushed boundaries with Touch Me, featuring orchestral elements. Come on, now touch me, babe. Can't you see that purists saw as betraying their underground roots. Formed in 1965, after Jim Morrison and Ray Manzarek met on Venice Beach. By 1969, they were notorious. Morrison's erratic behavior led to the infamous Miami indecent exposure arrest. The lyrics were originally more explicit before company pressure. Fun fact, the saxophone solo by Curtis Amy marked a rare inclusion of outside musicians on a Doors recording. The Guess Who broke through American radio with These Eyes. These eyes cry every night. Becoming Canada's premier rock export. Formed in Winnipeg in 1962 as Chad Allen and the Reflections, they adopted the Guess Who name through a label marketing gimmick. Tension brewed between Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman as the guitarist Mormon beliefs clashed with the rock lifestyle. Fun fact, Bachman later founded Bachman-Turner Overdrive, essentially competing against his former band on the charts. The Foundations broke barriers with Build Me Up Buttercup, featuring a rare, multicultural lineup for the era. Formed in London in 1967, they included West Indian, British, and Sri Lankan members. Colin Young wasn't the original vocalist, joining after Clem Curtis departed. Written by producers, not band members, the upbeat melody masks lyrics about an emotional manipulation. Fun fact, despite international success, members earned little from their hits due to unfavorable contracts. Three Dog Night transformed Harry Nilsson's minor release, One, into a smash hit through powerful vocals. Formed in 1967 with three lead vocalists, Danny Hutton, Chuck Negrin, and Corey Wells, they took their name from an Australian Aboriginal practice. Their success interpreting others' compositions drew criticism from songwriting purists, despite their vocal talents. Fun fact, Nilsson reportedly wrote One after getting a busy signal, inspiring the opening line. Meanwhile, Three Dog Night returns with Easy to Be Hard, a ballad from the controversial musical Hair. The song questions showing compassion for causes while treating loved ones poorly. Chuck Negrin's emotional delivery drew from personal struggles that later became a devastating heroin addiction. Recording from a musical with nudity and anti-establishment themes alienated conservatives. Fun fact, Negrin later estimated spending over $1 million on heroin before achieving sobriety. The Cufflinks, Tracy, featured Ron Dante.
Tracy, when I'm with you, something you do bounces me off the...
Simultaneously, the voice of the Archies, Sugar Sugar, a fact that was hidden from the public. Created in 1969 by producers Cosenz and Katz, the Cufflinks never existed as a touring band. Dante recorded multiple vocal tracks, essentially singing with himself. Rock critics disdained the bubblegum pop that delighted teens. Fun fact, Dante later became Barry Manilow's producer, showing versatility beyond his anonymous pop success. Smith had transformed the Shirelles' gentle Baby It's You into a hard-rocking blues powerhouse.
Baby, it's you.
Formed in 1969 in Los Angeles, they featured Gail McCormick's powerful vocals, blending soul and rock. Their aggressive covers sparked controversy among purists who felt original arrangements were disrespected. Their brief career faced lineup changes immediately after this signature hit. Fun fact, McCormick was discovered singing as a waitress, going from serving food to national television within months. Oliver's Good Morning Starshine brought music from Hair to mainstream radio. William Oliver Swafford recorded this psychedelic tune with nonsensical lyrics like Glitty Gloop Gloopy that captured the era's experimental spirit. The North Carolina native had a brief career before becoming disillusioned with the industry. The song's connection to themes of free love and anti-war sentiment divided audiences. Fun fact, Oliver later became an insurance salesman, deliberately abandoning the spotlight. But Oliver returns with Jean, a tender ballad from the prime of Miss Jean Brodie, showcasing versatility beyond starshine. Written by Ron McEwen, its gentle delivery contrasted with 1969's revolutionary spirit. Critics called it sentimental, while audiences embraced its emotion during tumultuous times. Swafford reportedly disliked the commercial arrangement compared to his folk roots. Fun fact, Oliver turned down a soap opera role, rejecting potential television stardom. The Flying Machines soared briefly with Smile a Little Smile for Me, its upbeat tempo masking lyrics about a failing relationship. This British studio creation featured Tony Burrows, the voice behind numerous one-hit wonders. Producers assembled the group without touring intentions, exemplifying the industry's shift towards manufactured bands. Listeners often miss the disconnect between cheerful melody and desperate lyrics. Fun fact, Burrows may hold the record for chart appearances with different bands, including Edison Lighthouse and Brotherhood of Man. It's fascinating how these songs define 1969 yet continue resonating today. Have your grandchildren discovered these tracks and asked about them? Have you shared these musical memories with younger generations? Your experiences connect us all. Hit that like button if these songs still move you decades later. And subscribe to join our community who understands these weren't just songs. They were history's soundtrack. Now, let's finish out our journey. Elvis Presley staged a comeback with In the Ghetto.
Poor little baby child is born in the ghetto.
A socially conscious departure from his earlier material. Written by Mac Davis, this narrative about poverty marked a rare political statement after years of formulaic movies. Recorded during the American Sound Studio sessions, Elvis reclaimed relevance while battling early prescription drug dependencies. Colonel Parker advised against such controversial material. Fun fact, Elvis turned down Proud Mary during these sessions, which would become a hit for Creedence Clearwater revival instead. Johnny Cash recorded A Boy Named Sue live at San Quentin Prison.
Don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue.
Capturing energy impossible in studios. Starting in 1955 with Sun Records, Cash experienced renaissance through prison concerts. Written by children's author Shel Silverstein, the song about a man hunting his father for giving him a feminine name connected through humor and emotion, and its mild profanity sparked radio controversy. Fun fact, Cash barely reviewed the lyrics beforehand, making his famous laugh a genuine reaction to lines he was discovering live. Kenny Rogers in the first edition blurred genres with Ruby, Don't Take Your Love to Town, depicting a paralyzed Vietnam veteran pleading with his unfaithful wife. Rogers formed the group in 1967 after leaving the New Christie Minstrels. Written by Mel Tillis, its references to Vietnam and domestic violence made it commercially successful, yet politically charged. Fun fact, the fade-out lyrics about loving a paralyzed man were considered so shocking that some stations played edited versions, removing this line entirely. Glen Campbell's Galveston appeared as a Texas tribute, but carried anti-war undertones. Campbell, who began as a Wrecking Crew session guitarist, interpreted Jimmy Webb's composition about a soldier longing for home. The protest nature was downplayed in Campbell's delivery compared to Webb's intent, making it accessible regardless of politics. Campbell's clean-cut image made progressive material palatable to conservatives. Fun fact, Webb wrote it imagining a Spanish-American war soldier, not a Vietnam draftee, as commonly interpreted. And the Lettermen closed our journey with Hurt So Bad.
Hurt so bad, it makes me feel so.
Reworking Little Anthony and the Imperials' earlier hit. Formed in 1959, they represented traditional vocal harmony that maintained relevance through adaptive arrangements. Their smooth blend softened the original's raw emotion while preserving its romantic desperation. Their clean-cut image provided familiarity for listeners uncomfortable with cultural changes. Fun fact, the Lettermen performed with over 25 different members through decades, with only founding member Tony Batalla remaining a constant. And there you have it, 20 songs that defined 1969, the closing year of a decade that changed everything. From civil rights to Vietnam, from Woodstock to the moon landing, 1969 was not just another year. It was the culmination of social transformation captured through these recordings. If these memories spark something in you, please like this video, subscribe, and share these time capsules with someone who remembers when music told our collective story. Until next time, keep those memories alive.